Good afternoon, Haiti Oropesa with Florida You Judge, and I am here with Zachariah Wade, who has joined me today because there's a judicial race in Pinellas County. He's one of the candidates in that race, and tell us a little bit about this particular race, the group that you're in.
Absolutely. So a lot of people are stumped by that. They see it on the banners, they see it on the flyers, and they ask, what is Group 10? Group 10 is really a designation that the Chief Justice is most concerned with. That's going to help him decide where he places each judge after they are elected. But for the voting public, it doesn't mean anything different. This is a countywide race, which means anyone from Tarpon to St. Pete over to the beaches. As long as you're registered to vote, this race will be on your ballot on August 18th.
Okay, and so I've already had the other candidate in this race on a Florida Judge, so go catch that broadcast. This is simply I'm putting out the candidates so that the voters can get familiarized with them. So Zachariah, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. I am an attorney here in Pinellas County. I'm a father. That is something that I always lead with because that's a big part of who I am. I've been practicing in Pinellas County for a number of years, and I've served as a prosecutor, a criminal defense attorney, a civil attorney, handling civil matters in almost every aspect, including family law, representing business owners and individuals. I've also served as a professor down at the Stetson University College of Law, which is where I graduated from after I graduated from Florida A&M University up in Tallahassee.
Okay, good. So you sound very well rounded. You've done a lot of the different areas, so you're ready to go. If
I am.
the
I know that I'm a well-rounded attorney. I'm also a well-rounded person. I have a lot of life experience. I've been exposed to a lot of different cultures, lived around a lot of different types of people, and I tell people all the time, there's really not any room that you can put me in where I won't be able to connect with people and just show them who I am on a genuine level.
Okay, so how long have you been an attorney?
I've been an attorney for the past decade.
Okay. So so tell me a little bit why do you have you decided after 10 years of practicing law that you want to become a judge?
There are really a couple different reasons categorically. The first one is my professional experience. Like I said a moment ago, having represented the state of Florida, I've served as a prosecutor. I handled all levels of crime from disorderly conduct all the way up to murder. When my son was born, I left the state attorney's office and went private. I started practicing at a reputable defense firm that gave me a lot of experience in the criminal defense arena. Recently, I also started my own law firm, which is where I earn a living now, and I handle criminal and civil cases. And on top of that, like I also mentioned, I've spent years teaching as a professor at the Stetson University College of Law, and that to me is really the crown jewel of my professional resume because that position required a lot of trust. It came with a lot of responsibility. And to me, it's an honor because I practice alongside lawyers that I once trained as they were law students. So I'm really proud of that. On the personal side, I have a tremendous amount of life experience. I grew up pretty quick. I was faced with things that a lot of kids and maybe even some adults really don't even have to consider as they're growing up and maneuvering life. But these experiences sharpened me. They helped me to decide at a young age what kind of man I want to be, right from wrong, that kind of thing, establishing a moral compass and realizing that you can't take anything for granted. And to be specific, I've experienced food insecurity, homelessness, some instances where domestic violence was present. I was actually removed from my mother's home at the age of 10, and I started bouncing around family members. And like I said, that gave me tremendous perspective. At the time, there were a lot of questions. Why am I going through these things? But I'm at a point now in my life where I've overcome that, and humbly I can say that I have made myself into the type of man that I needed when I was younger. And so I look around at Pinellas County and also my community involvement, and I see the impact not only that I've been able to make so far, but I want to continue that. And what I mean specifically when it comes to community service and community involvement is I've been involved with a number of different organizations. I'm on the board of directors for some, I've been in leadership positions for others, but the two that really define, my perspective of what it means to give back to the community are one is an organization called Empowerment, and the part of that word is spelled HER because this is an organization that focuses on uplifting women. And being raised by a single mom who oftentimes needed an extra hand, I give back through that organization. I'm a pit master. Most people know me for barbecue. And one thing I like to do is cook in bulk. I have a 300-gallon smoker, and I'll reach out to the leadership in that organization and say, "Hey, I'm cooking 24 chickens this weekend. Let's set up a sort of a drive-through and just give this food away." And that really helps me, fulfill the cycle of the things that I went through and the ways that I can give back. The other program that I'm really heavily involved with, excuse me, is called Boys Court. And Boys Court is the Boys is an acronym. It's Building Optimal Youth Success. And that program was actually started by the judge that I'm seeking to replace now as he retires. He started this program, and the way that it focuses, it really addresses young men who have been arrested or in some way exposed to the criminal justice system as juveniles. And the idea is that we bring in speakers and we share our story and some of the obstacles that we overcame so that these young men realize the only difference between where you are and where I am are choices, time and choices. And I share my story so that they can look at me the way I looked at men, which was, wow, okay, I can do this, right? I can believe in myself, because a lot of times seeing is believing. And here in Pinellas County, that's very important to me. I've been mentoring since I moved here. And I see an opportunity to take this program and really create an impact outside of the courtroom as well, and not just get to these young men after they've been arrested, but to grow it so much that we can get them before they even step foot in a courtroom and have that better path towards a successful and stable life.
Wow, that was a lot. That was
It
good. I
was.
didn't even know that about you. And we practice in the locally in the same jurisdictions, and I didn't know that about you. So I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, because community involvement, not just when you're running, but prior to making a decision and to actually go and run are two different things. Sometimes, people near the race start trying to get some community service or serving the community in, but you've already been doing that for a while, yes?
Yes, as long as I've been here in Pinellas County.
Let me ask you, what do you think helped you to, with what you have gone through that you mentioned, get to where you're at? What was it?
Well, I grew up without my father. He was not a permanent fixture in my life, and the reason I say that is because I can still point to men at different points in my life that had huge impacts on me. But sometimes the interactions were brief. It was just men who showed me or said something to me that stuck with me. I have family members who, whenever I would come by and see them, they say, "You're going to be somebody. There's something special about you. You're going to make an impact." Enough people start to tell you that, you kind of believe it and gain that confidence. On another level, I can acknowledge that I'm one of seven children, and growing up all in the same environment, not all of us were able to maneuver the same obstacles the same way. And I've asked myself that question a lot of what makes me different. And I can humbly say that it was really a desire to have better for myself, to do more. I looked around at the environment that I was in and some of the things that were just part of life, but I recognized that that's not how it should be, and that's not what I want for myself. So whenever I saw opportunities that were given to me by these men, or sometimes women too, but predominantly it was men who showed me the way. They poured into me, and it really helped me to believe in myself and believe in things that I couldn't see at the moment.
All right. So for those of you who are watching, you can learn more about Zachariah at wade4judge.com. It's on the ticker at the bottom. And is there, let me ask you a question. Let's talk about demeanor on the bench. Speak to that.
Demeanor is incredibly important. I've represented the state in a capacity where I walk into a courtroom with a victim of a crime, and they ask me, "How's this judge? Are they going to listen to me? Are they going to be mean and yell at me like Judge Judy?" And it really gives me and them confidence when I can say, "No, this judge is even keel. They're going to listen to you." Even on the defense side and the civil side, when I walk into a courtroom and stand at the podium with my client in front of the judge, their demeanor means everything, because if they're calm and they're willing to listen to you and don't speak over you, and they're obviously not, they're the most authoritative person in the room, but if they don't carry themselves as the most intelligent person in the room, right, if they operate with humility, then that changes everything about that courtroom interaction. Because the truth is, not everyone who walks out of the courtroom is going to be happy with the decision that the judge made. But when they feel respected and heard, and confident that the law is what decided the outcome, not that judge's personal feelings, then they can walk away maintaining respect for our system of law and the court. And that starts with the judge's demeanor, how they walk into the courtroom. How do they address you? How do they speak to you? Do they look at you when they're talking to you, or are they fumbling through paperwork? I think it's tremendously important.
Okay, and yeah, and judges are human, so they're not perfect, and sometimes they can even make an error, and then we have an appellate process that can correct them when they're wrong, and that doesn't mean that they're a bad judge because they got something wrong, because we're all human, and that can happen. Okay, is there anything I'm gonna share your website now so that the voters can, after this broadcast, they can go and vet you more, looking at your website. So I'm sharing that now. And Zachariah, go ahead and let me know if there's any particular area of your website that you'd like me to navigate so that the voters can see.
Sure. That bottom right paragraph where it says, as the inaugural recipient, excuse me, if you hit that more, that red word, there you go, it'll take you to a page that really has, excuse me, almost a full explanation of my educational background, where I gained my perspective as an attorney, the level and extent of experience that I've had practicing law, including dozens of jury trials, which I think is tremendously important. It speaks to the fact that I've spent my career in the courtroom, which is very important, but also it speaks to the impact that I've had on the community outside of the courtroom as well. And I think the first one is very important. I tell people all the time, going into court is a lot like going into surgery, where you know the outcome you want. There are a lot of intricate steps to get you there, and you might not understand all of them. So you're relying on someone else to get you to that end result. And if you're going into surgery, one of the first questions you're going to ask that surgeon is, how many times have you done this before? How many hours have you spent in the operating room before you offer your body up for them to cut or do anything that they need to do? You want that confidence that this person has been in this environment enough to really understand how it operates and the way that things should go. And so I think this page really does a lot of speaking to that, because I'm a trial lawyer. I've spent my career in the courtroom seeing this job done the right way, and also taking away some examples of things that maybe I wouldn't do, or that I could find a way to do a little better.
So now I'm going to share. I know that you've received some endorsements, and you'd like to have the voters to look at who has endorsed you in this race. So
Absolutely.
let's go back, and I'm going to share now. This would be your Facebook campaign page.
Yes.
We're going to go on there, and you can. Okay, so those are so when the voter goes onto the page, they would go and hit photos, right?
Yep, they're all
So and then there's a good amount of endorsements. Now, do you want to speak on any of those?
Yeah, if you scroll down just a little bit, every endorsement has the same template. Not these. If you go out of that.
Okay, oops.
That is a good one, though. That was Senator Rousseau. But if you X out of that and then scroll down and see where that white banner that says endorsement, each of these. So these are all of the endorsements.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's go ahead and look. I like this attorney, very good attorney, and good person. So there's comment. He made a comment. Is this his comment? Zachariah Wade is the exact type of lawyer and person that we need on the bench. His personal and professional background speak to his courtroom experience, real life perspective, command of the law, and his understanding of the community he serves. There's no better example of a candidate worthy of the title judge. This is a good guy. I come across him every now and again when we're in court, and he's like I said, very amazing human and lawyer. Let's see here. Let me hit that button going backwards. Who else would you like for me? Oh, look, I like her.
Yeah, that's
Tamara Felton Howard. Zachariah Wade possesses the experience, temperament, and integrity to fairly apply the rule of law. I believe he will be make an outstanding judge. And this Felton Howard, she's been practicing for a long time. Probably, I've been practicing for 26 years, and she's probably longer than me. So this is somebody that can really speak to the community and the players and the attorneys.
And that's why I'm really proud of my endorsements, because I've been endorsed by people like Senator Darrell Rousson, board certified attorneys like Mr. Charles Samarkis, Cornelius Dempsey's on the screen. I have endorsements from a lot of different people. And the reason I'm proud of this specifically is these are attorneys, these are primarily attorneys, but they're also attorneys that I've either practiced law against when I was a prosecutor, or I practice law alongside them. And we see each other in the courthouse every day, and they actually have a real perspective of who I am as an attorney, but also who I am outside of the courtroom. And so anytime someone has endorsed me, they've also included one of these captions to explain not just that they're throwing their support behind me, but why and what they've seen about me specifically. And to me, I think that matters a lot more when a person can give that personal experience about you as a lawyer and as a man.
I know Cornelius Stimps. I tried a case against him. I won't say what the outcome is, but good guy, good lawyer. Let's see who else here. Love Gregory Showers. He's awesome. I run into him every now and again. Sometimes we stop and chat. He's a really good attorney, good person. Here's another attorney that I absolutely love, James May. He's amazing. Amazing, also very amazing. So that this is a good endorsement. Um and Richard Watts, amazing attorney, amazing human too. So I'm just going ahead and I'm picking them if you don't mind.
No, I don't
The
mind
ones
at
that
all.
the ones that I recognize that let's see here. I don't think I recognize. Do I recognize him? I don't think I do. Darrell Rousson.
There's Senator Rousson.
Yep. He's terming out now, so there's
He
a
is. He's
race in that.
the Senate. And that actually, I'm very proud of that endorsement. Not that I'm more or less proud of anyone, but this one
Right.
really stands out to me, not only because of who Senator Rousson is, but because of the fact that I actually do know him. We don't hang out, but I met him when I was at Florida A&M University. I was just an undergrad student. I was interning at the Florida House, and one of the things that I made sure I did was knock on everybody's door. I went to meet everybody that I could, and he actually sat down with me and introduced. And I think it's, for me, it's just a full circle moment to come back and now have his endorsement as I look to become a public figure behind him. I'm really honored by that.
Yeah, and he's a nice guy, and he has a very inspiring story too.
Yep.
Okay, let's see. Diane Hart. Okay, I like Diane Hart. I know Diane. Um, Richard Trevina.
Yep.
He's
A lot of
been
people know
practicing.
Jim Jenkins too. He's a local celebrity.
Uh, Jenk, where's he at? Oh, I love him too. He's so sweet, very nice guy. I tried cases, not tried. I don't think I ever tried, but we handled. He was a prosecutor. I was a defense attorney back in the day when he was in the state attorney's office. Very nice prosecutor. Let's see the
Bridget
um,
Domingos.
yeah, Bridget Domingos, love her. Okay, hold on a second. Hmm. Okay, well, you have a lot of endorsements.
Yep. Charles
Ben DeBerg,
Rag.
love
Yep.
Ben
Law
DeBerg.
school deans, board certified attorneys.
Where's that at? I don't think I. Oh
He's
my
down at
gosh,
yeah, Jerry T. Mr.
he's my. I
Joseph.
love him like a brother. Love him
He's a
like a
cool
brother.
guy. He and I get along well because when the first time I introduced myself to him, I said his full last name. And most people just call him Jerry T. And he said, you can just call me Jerry T. And I said, no, with a name like Zachariah, and I actually go by Zachariah, I give other people their full name as well. It just took me a second to make sure I was saying it right, but he's a cool guy.
It's hard to say, yeah, but me and him were tight. He's a great friend. I consider him as a brother. He's just a very wonderful human and awesome attorney.
Yeah, agreed.
Awesome attorney. Okay, so we're gonna go. I'm gonna stop sharing here. We have a few minutes left, and I'm gonna let you address. Ooh, did I remove you? Oh my gosh, no, I didn't. Did I? Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So a few minutes left. Go ahead and I'd like for you to kind of let the voters know when early voting starts, the particular dates that are important for them to look out, and whatever they need to be on the lookout as voters here in this county and when they vote.
Yeah, that's great.
And any last words you'd like to leave them with?
Absolutely. Thank you. So voting is definitely important, and a lot of people already know that you have to register in order to vote. The deadline to register is just 5 days away. Today's the 15th. July 20th is the deadline to register or to update your registration. And there have been some changes that might take you out of compliance. So you should call the supervisor of elections office or visit their website at votepinellas.gov. Make sure your registration is up to date. Mail-in ballots have already started going out. I believe early voting starts, I want to say August 8th. I could be wrong, but nobody's ever accused me of being perfect, so definitely look that up. And then, of course, election day is August 18th. That will leave much decided. There are a lot of things on the ballot, and I've been telling people all along the campaign trail. Obviously, I want to earn your vote for county court judge, but we're not the only race on the ballot. There's a lot that will be decided on August 18th, and it's crucially important for everyone to get involved. And if you don't vote, I tell people as well, it's like taking your hand and putting it over your own mouth because you're choosing not to let your voice be heard. So I definitely want to encourage people to do that. Be mindful of the deadline. The closest one is July 20th. Make sure you're registered and make sure you vote before or on August 18th. And when it comes to me and my final words as a candidate, I think that being a well-rounded person and a well-rounded attorney are crucial to this position because out of every type of elected official that you can vote for, a judge is the one that you have the highest chance of actually confronting face to face. A representative in the House or a senator, they come back to their constituents after being in Tallahassee or even in DC, and they typically speak to people about the issues that they're working towards in those capacities. But a judge faces their constituents directly and in the moment makes decisions about that person's life. And so when it comes to the professional experience, I know that I have the qualifications and experience having served in multiple roles in the criminal arena, in the civil arena, and in both of those arenas on both sides of the courtroom as a prosecutor, as a defense attorney, as an civil attorney representing plaintiffs, respondents, defendants, all of that, and also being trusted to teach at the law school level. To me, again, that is an honor. And it built my confidence as an attorney because they say you don't know anything until you can teach it. And for county court specifically, these courtrooms are dominated, I'd say, in large part by younger attorneys. And the role of a judge is sometimes, I would say, as a guide, right? You never want to do a lawyer's job for them, but you have to make sure that the law is being followed as sometimes younger attorneys are developing their skill sets. And it really benefits to have been a law school professor. On the personal side, like I said, I come with tremendous life experience. I'm a very humble person. I know what I've been through, and luckily I don't look like what I've been through. But I carry my experiences and my understanding with me at all times. When I speak to people, one of the things that I hear often back is that they can tell I'm being genuine. I'm just a person, and I treat people like human beings. And I'm also committed not only to uplifting my profession, but uplifting my community and creating an impact in the courtroom that gives people confidence in the justice system and knowledge and faith that the law is being applied fairly and consistently without any type of political agenda or personal feelings. It's just the law. And then on the outside of the courtroom as well, I see this position as a platform to make a huge impact on our local community here in Pinellas County because I have the desire to do that, to uplift everyone and make sure that this job is done the right way and that the influence that it comes with is handled carefully and respectfully.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for joining me today for the benefit of the voters so that they can get familiarized with your candidacy. I'm Haiti Oropesa with Florida U Judge. Until next time.
Oh, remember to vote on August 18th.